How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little sleepy today, but I'm good otherwise.
Why are you sleepy?
I was watching Money Heist last night, so I slept a little late and I had to wake up early for dubbing. And then I had this interview, so I couldn't nap. And then I have to go to the gym, and then I have to go to Lonavala. But I'll catch up on my sleep on the way to Lonavala.
So the gym has become a really important part of Janhvi Kapoor's life because
It has.
whenever I go onto Instagram, the first photo I see is of Janhvi Kapoor coming out of the
How sad
gym.
is that, though? It's like, it literally seems like that's all I do, but it's not, I swear.
So let's bust the myths then. People think Janhvi Kapoor goes to the gym every day and they don't see her for the rest of the day. What else goes on in a normal day in the life of Janhvi Kapoor?
I do go to the gym every day, but we'll see, it depends. Even when I'm shooting, I make it a point to go to the gym because I don't know, I just feel like it's a great start. And then I'll have my 12 hours of shoot, which is honestly, on most of the films I've worked on, it's been 16 to 17 hours of shoot. And then I come back home and I sleep, or if I'm not shooting, I go to the gym. I usually have readings. I'll try to fit in a dance class. I'll definitely watch at least one movie a day.
One movie a day?
I have to. It's like food for my soul.
This is a life that Janhvi Kapoor dreamt of for so many years. And now that Janhvi Kapoor is living this life, does it feel as cool? Does it feel as fulfilling as what you once hoped it would be?
I don't know if this is... I dreamt of being on set and in front of the camera. And every time I'm on set and in front of the camera, it's more than anything I could have imagined. It's when I'm my most alive. It's when I'm my most alert. It's when I'm the happiest. When you're sitting with your director, when you're with your co-actor and you're working on a scene and you find a moment of honesty and you feel like you found something or you've done something that's meaningful, or even if it's not meaningful, if you've just had like a moment of truth or just some fun in front of the camera, it's so exhilarating and exciting. Nothing in the world matches up to that. Like, I've had days where I've survived on maybe like 1 or 2 hours of sleep over like the span of 3-4 shooting days.
Wow.
But like, I swear to God, I've been glowing, I've been happy, I've been energetic. And then there have been days where I've had like 10 hours of sleep, but I'm feeling tired and low because I'm not on a film set. Karan, in fact, everyone at Dharma and everyone that I've worked with, they like get panicky when I'm not shooting. My manager included, she's not here today. She's like, oh my God, you have a break for 10 days. I don't know what to do with you. You're going to go insane. Because I genuinely do go insane when I'm not on a film set.
You know, also, all these other factors that you mentioned, like a dance class, like the gym, like watching movies, is all part of the job as well, right? Do you have to constantly feel like you need to be practicing and rehearsing and finessing that craft?
Yeah, definitely. But I think I'm also so in love with it that it just makes me happy. Like, I'm just in a better mood when I feel like I'm working towards bettering myself, bettering my craft, working at it, because there's so much to learn from everyone around you, from yourself, from finding who you are as an artist, that like, and I don't even think it's restricted to being in a classroom and learning diction or learning dance. I think it's traveling and getting to know the people of your country, the people that you're supposed to play, where they come from, how they are, seeing, I don't know, I love traveling. I think that's been a bigger and a better learning experience than any form of classroom experience.
How do you, Janhvi, get into the skin of characters that you've never lived yourself? And I'm talking here about where they might come from, the accents that they might have, the little quirks that people from certain parts... I mean, India is a world within itself, right?
Yeah.
When you've not been exposed to those people, when you've not lived those lives, how do you get into the skin of those characters?
You know, I think it's very important firstly to understand that you as a person are different from each of these characters, and each of these characters are different from each other, as different as me and you are. Like, our tastes might be similar, but at the end of the day, we've had completely different experiences, upbringings, where we come from and all of those things. But it's almost like you're playing God, I think. You're making a person. You can decide the quirks that this person has, where this person comes from. You can create, manufacture moments, and I don't know, it's just so exciting. So what I do is, like I said, when I travel, I like observing people and picking up things.
Do you write things down?
I do, and I feel like that adds a little bit of like reality. And sometimes you can try things and it can seem completely foolish on camera, but sometimes it might work. Like for ghost stories, the accent that Samira had, the dialect accent or whatever, it's exactly how Asha, I don't know if you saw her when you came.
Yeah.
It's exactly how she talks.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it just added like a little bit of reality and texture to where she came from, I think. In terms of someone like, playing Gunjan Saxena, I had a real life example. I knew where she came from. I spent a lot of time with her. I could speak to her about things. So there was a lot of clarity. But then when you're making a character and when you're making a person, I find it very important to infuse that character with as much reality as you can. And to understand that that person is very different from you and from other people. So just to like ground it in reality, I think.
It feels like you are wise beyond your years, Janhvi.
Maybe I'm just talking shit.
No.
You don't know, because like none of these films have come out yet. And then they will, and then you'll be like, what the fuck was she tripping on?
Your debut film released in 2018, Dharak, which was a remake of Sairat, and people really liked you in that film. But now do you feel there's a lot more to prove with your second, your third, your fourth film? I know Ghost Stories released, which was a short film, but really people are waiting for that next big screen, right?
Yeah, I feel like I'm making my debut again.
Really?
It's been so long, and I feel like I've honestly become a different person. And I think with Dharak, I had the ability to objectively look at my performance and identify the things that were lacking, the things that I wanted to work on. And
what were the things that were lacking, in your opinion?
I think that I lacked confidence. I think that my language was an issue. I think that I was a little stiff in places. I think that one thing that I had working for me is that I tried to bring a lot of honesty to it and a lot of sensitivity. So I think like the emotionality of it was in the right place. I think maybe it was all heart, but it lacked a lot of technical understanding and a lot of finesse, which I think made me a little... I lacked technical understanding. Maybe my skill set wasn't as polished, but I think it's weird saying this about myself, but I think I felt honest on screen. I think so.
Do you feel like you were deserving of the praise that you got for that film then, when you know deep down that there's things that you personally identified that maybe nobody else can see?
But a lot of people identified that I had a lot of things to work on, and it helped me to read those comments and reviews and everything. And honestly, I'm so happy that I had that, because I've honestly really tried to push myself. Like, I feel like in Gunjan and in Ruafza, I've like given it everything. They better like me, otherwise I'll pack my bags and shift to Tirupati and that'll be my life, because there's nothing else now. But no, that's not true. There's always more that you can do. But कहते हैं ना कि अपने आप को निचोड़ दिया है पूरी तरह से.
Yeah.
So let's see. I hope people take a liking towards it. But I really think it comes down to honesty and having heart, and like not being guarded in front of the camera, just like letting yourself be vulnerable. I think that creates the best moments. So that's what I've tried to do, and I've tried to polish my skills and better my diction and all of those things. So hopefully it comes together well.
It's so weird, right? Because in this industry, and particularly when you're an actress or you're a star, you're supposed to be vulnerable in front of the camera, but you're not supposed to be vulnerable when you're in front of the media, or when you're in front of the industry, or when you're in front of your peers, or when, like, it's such a double life that you're almost living, where the whole point of being an actor is being vulnerable and letting people see your raw emotions, but you almost have to be guarded every time you step out, and it's not in front of an actual film camera, so to speak.
I don't know how to do that. Like, I've been told by so many people that I'm not ruthless enough, I'm not thick-skinned enough, I'm not like I'm too naive, but I don't care. Like, I think that the only thing that I might have going for me is that I think it's brave to be naive, and I think that somewhere I let that show when I act. I think that vulnerability might hopefully come across. So I'm scared to become thick-skinned and ruthless and like think of like ये क्या कर रही है, वो क्या कर रहा है, ये positioning के लिए ऐसे वैसे. or to like not let things affect me, because everything affects me. I'm overly sensitive.
Are you cut out for this business?
My mom never thought so. My dad doesn't think my personality is scarred for it, but he saw my second film recently, and he's seen some of my work, and then I don't want to say much, but he knows that there's nothing else that I can ever get myself to do. But if that same amount of sensitivity makes me feel like shit in some professional situations or like on social media, but allows me to bawl my eyes out at the drop of a hat in front of a camera, then, and it's hard to do that, but I think it's worth it. Like, I think it's hard to cry in front of the camera. I think it's hard to be emotional. I think it's hard to show. वो जब रूह दिख जाती है ना कैमरे के सामने, I think वो बहुत कम होता है, और मुझे वो चाहिए. Like, I'm looking for that. I want to find that and retain it, so I don't want to let myself get thick-skinned or harsh. I'm paranoid about it almost.
But you know, when you're in an industry like Bollywood, which is built on the star system as well, and where your worth in the market depends on how successful your films are, what you look like, what you wear, where you go, who you speak to, how do you retain your authenticity? How do you remain yourself when there are so many people surrounding you telling you how you should behave?
In this industry, it's very easy to believe that you are like the shit, like you're amazing and everything you're doing is the best decision ever, and it's very easily to convince yourself that you're shit also, like you're nothing. So I think the most important thing is to understand that, I don't know, maybe this is a naive thought also, but I think it all comes down to your work. And if your concentration is solely on bettering your craft and your work and working honestly and working really, really hard, then the road might be longer, but you'll get where you're supposed to get. You'll get where you want to get. Just keep your head down and keep working at it. All of this noise I find very distracting, and it's easy to get caught up in it.
How do you make sure that this doesn't impact you more than it just being a job?
It does impact you more than just being a job, because it's such an emotional profession. It's not a 9-to-5 job. You can't leave it behind. You live with it. At least for me, I eat, breathe, live, think. Everything is about films, is about the work that I'm doing. I'm constantly thinking about characters and moments and scenes. Like, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'd be like, I need to see that one scene from Tamasha, I need to see that one moment in American Hustle, and the way Amy Adams, when she made that switch, and I need, like, it's constant, but I love it. Like, you're so consumed by it. Like, I'm so lucky to be able to do it, and there's no other way to be. I'm in a place of privilege where I've had this opportunity come to me so easily. I can't for a second take it for granted. I'm constantly wired up, and it's exhausting. My dad thinks I'm obsessive about it, but I haven't seen my results come to fruition yet.
Right.
Maybe when I do, I'll be a little relaxed about it, but I hope I'm not. Like I said, I think my hard work and my sincerity are the only weapons that I have right now. So I need to keep it as close to me as possible.
So I know you also grew up on all those kind of late 90s, early noughties Dharma movies as well, right? Your K3Gs, your Kal Ho Na Hos.
Yeah, but I think I'm more an admirer of, I'm a Dharma girl. I love Dharma films. I feel like saying this is going to get
me a No, it's okay.
But I have been more, I think I relate more to older films of the 60s and the 70s maybe, but more 50s and 60s, I would say. I relate more to their style of acting even, I think.
Have you been born into the wrong generation?
I have said this multiple times. I swear to God, like, for sure, like, I want to play these characters the way that Madhubala was in Mr. and Mrs. Pachpan, her comic timing. I want to be Umrao Jan.
You might get to be in Takt.
Well, not Umrao Jan.
Not
but
Umrao Jan,
something-
but that kind of Mughal history
Yes.
and that look and that kind of
It's
feel.
a dream. Like, I think the second I got to know about it, I knew that shoot was still a year and something away at the time. And I think I saw Pakiza, Umrao Jan, Mughal Azam like on loop for 4 days. I started Kathak in Urdu, and Karan was like, but like the script, like you don't even have the script yet, what do you? But yeah.
But you know, when you have that much enthusiasm for something and you're that invested in something, this industry is also very fickle. Things don't happen as much as they do happen, and
Yeah.
there is a lot of like films getting shelved. There is
Yes.
a lot of like relationships that get burned. There's just a lot that
A
goes
lot
on.
of delays.
A lot of delays.
Too many delays.
So is it better just not to have expectations in this industry?
But is that possible? It's like getting into a relationship with someone you've fallen for super hard and then being like, this isn't gonna go anywhere. But then what's the point? Then don't be in it. How can you not expect anything? I expect the world from every opportunity that I get. And of course it's disappointing when stuff gets delayed and shelved and doesn't work out the way that you've planned. But I think everything happens for the best.
You said that you have the world of expectations from this place, but do you think the world has loads of expectations from you too?
Yeah, but I think that I gave them a reality check with Dhadak. And this is but yeah, they do have a lot of expectations, but I mean, of course they do. Why wouldn't they? I think my mom and my family has given them so much in terms of entertainment, content, given Indian cinema so much. And they've given mom and dad and everyone so much love and admiration and appreciation that honestly, the life that I'm living, the opportunities that I have is all because of these people's love, all of their love. So, I mean, of course they'll expect.
But that's a lot of baggage to
I
carry,
know,
man.
but imagine it's like I know that they're expecting much more than they would of other people.
Yeah.
Maybe more than I can deliver. But if I know that that's what they're expecting, at least I'll reach like close to it, as opposed to like if I do a bare minimum job and then they'd be like, oh, pleasantly surprised that I can breathe on screen, you know?
Do you think people are nicer to you as well because of the goodwill they have towards your parents?
I think some people are nicer to me because of the goodwill, and some people are harsher because of my parents as well. I think even that is just noise, because it's going to boil down to me and what I have to offer. Maybe not in my first film, maybe in my second, maybe in my third, but it will boil down to what I have to offer. And I think that people will start seeing me for who I am and what I have to offer, because I'm very different. There are genetic similarities, but I'm different from my mom and my dad. I have something to say that's individual to who I am. And I think that my choices hopefully will be a reflection of that.
You know, even when we're sitting here doing this interview, do you feel like you have to be careful about what you say or how you say it when you're talking about your family, when you're talking about your parents? Because I feel like everybody just has this image etched out of what Janhvi Kapoor should be like and how she should behave and how grateful she should be or how independent she should be. And I mean, I wouldn't know how on earth I would handle it if I was you.
You know, there was a point that I used to feel like I need to cater to some sort of idea of how people think I am. But I think that people are smart and they recognize honesty. And I think that what they value most is someone who's comfortable enough to be themselves. And I honestly don't have the headspace to try to be anything else anymore.
You say anymore, but you like you said, you tried at one point.
I don't know if I tried, but I think when I was promoting Dhadak, there was a phase where I was unsure of who I was and what I need. There were so many people telling me things, and there was so much going on in my personal life and professionally that it was just, I think I was numb, and I think I was very like shut down. And I think a lot of people perceived that as, oh, she's ditzy, or oh, she's cold, or she's snobbish. And I got that a lot, because after that, when I started going for meetings and meeting producers and directors, they're like, you're so different from like what we thought you were. We thought you were this snooty little girl, but you're like completely different. But I was just, I think, reserved.
Do you still think about how much you let people in?
I don't think about it, but see, I all of these things that you said, I am grateful. I am independent, but I'm comfortable knowing who I am. I'm not like your boisterous, vivacious girl. I'm not your overly intellectualized gyani. I'm not like someone who's loved by everyone all across the board, but I'm just trying to do what I love.
When you're saying I'm not loved across the board, but you've done nothing to piss people off either. Like,
But I've done nothing to prove that I'm deserving of all of that love either.
you've got your head screwed on properly if you can think this sensibly at this early on stage in your career. Are you ever worried about losing that perspective the more famous you become?
Yeah, I am. I am. In fact, I think that I make a conscious effort to try to keep it in check. I don't think I'm like intelligent or anything. I just think that I'm happy with my priorities and the way that I look at things. So like I remember I was shooting for Gunjan, Ruafza and Ghost simultaneously, and then I had a break, and then I started Dostana, and Dostana is a relatively like lighter film, and I just remember constantly thinking, is this feeling too easy? Am I doing enough? Is this making sense? Am I taking things too lightly? So it's a constant battle. And then I don't know, there was a point where I do try to keep it in check, but honestly, what can you do? I think I'd like to think that it's embedded in your DNA and it's how you've been conditioned and brought up. And you know, I have my mom's energy with me. I don't think she'll let me derail like that. And even if I do, I'm sure it's for a reason, and I'll learn from it and I'll use it to better my craft or my life in some way. So
You mentioned your mum again. Clearly you're in a more comfortable place now talking about your mum than you were when you were promoting talent.
Yeah.
And that's completely natural. Do you feel a sense of carrying her legacy forward?
I feel a responsibility towards the people and towards the work that she's done, because even beyond her work, I think she led her life with so much dignity and so much grace, and so much innocence that I have seen her retain for like throughout her life. It's abnormal to safeguard yourself from just how corrupt the world can be, but she did it. She was pure, and that's how her and dad have tried to bring me and Khushi up. So I think more than the career decisions, more than the technicalities of it, I think being that person is what I strive to be.
What are the kind of things on the hit list that you want to achieve? Like, let's put a realistic kind of time span on it. Let's say like in the next 5 years, what things would you have liked Janhvi Kapoor to have achieved in the next 5 years?
I want the whole country's love. Like, I want all of it and in abundance. I think that I don't even know if it's a slightly patriotic feeling, but I just feel so much love for my people. And I've traveled the world. I really don't think that there are, the way that Indians are and the kind of love that they shower upon you, I haven't seen it anywhere else in the world. And I'm possessive of it. Like, I want to be their favorite and their number one. I really want to touch their lives with my work. I don't know if that can be quantified to like box office collections or movie reviews or what, but I know I'll feel it when I have it. I want to do meaningful work, I want to be remembered, and I want to create my own path. And I want to learn so much. I want, all of these moments that I need to wake up at night and I want and see. I want to create those moments.
Janhvi, it's been such a pleasure getting to know you better.
Thank
This
you.
is exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to come and get to know the girl behind the movies, and we wanted to get to know you better before you're going to be on this crazy amazing run in 2020. So I wish you all the very best of luck, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much.